I don't want this video to be long, but we have so many conversations about what is wrong in the country, and we never stop to discuss why it might be so. I am the leader of the Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago, an organization that is working behind the scenes to fix and repair a lot of things that are wrong with Trinidad and Tobago. But this conversation I want to have with you tonight, and I want to have this conversation with all the thinking people of Trinidad and Tobago, and everybody should tune into this and you should share it. Let's have a conversation. Anthony Robbins, world-renowned leadership guru. He has written more books, published more books, had more seminars than everybody else combined. Anthony Robbins, his statement that any time an organization is failing, 95% of the time, the problem is a problem with leadership. And Trinidad and Tobago's government, the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago and the ministers of Trinidad and Tobago for the past 6 years, and especially right now, while the world is in the grips of a pandemic and a global economic meltdown, our country is being run by the following people. And one dweller, Keith Rowley. Keith Rowley is a geologist. He specializes in rocks. His job is to know the functionality of the ground, of the earth that you're building stuff on. This is the man that gave us Labidco, failed, Labre, failed because they tried to build an industrial estate on the Pitch Lake, gave us Altamira, whatever, in towers in Morva that they had to mash up because the ground, they knew that the ground report said that the soil could not handle, they went ahead and built it. Brian Lara Stadium in Taruba. Taruba is notorious for shifting ground. That geologist is your prime minister, but forget that for now. Let's look at everybody else and their qualifications. Simon de Nobrega is your Minister of Communication. Simon de Nobrega spent much of his adult life selling steel coatings for his father-in-law, Fox de Freitas. How he comes to be the Minister of Communications, he and Rowley alone knows. It gets worse. This is a country that produced legal luminaries, the likes of Fenton Ramsahoy, Tajmol Hossain, world-renowned Tajmol Hossain, Carl Hudson Phillips, Russell Martineau, even Ramesh Lawrence Maraj. These are the kind of legal luminaries this country has produced and sent to the world. We end up with a mortgage agreement lawyer as our Attorney General, Faris Al-Rawi. Gavin Hira is one of the best security experts in the Western world. His advice is sought after by people all around the planet. We have people like Gavin Hira, ex-heads of the Defense Force. We have ex-heads of the Coast Guard. We have people trained in security and national security. We have Stuart Young, a 2x4 lawyer, as the Minister of National Security. Fitzgerald Hines, in his 70s, is the Minister of Youth Development. We've produced educators in this country, people who have gone on to world fame for work that they've done, books that they've written. But Nyan Gadsby Dolly is your Minister of Education. It gets plenty worse. Amory Brown, Dr. Amory Brown, HIV specialist, is your Minister of Foreign Affairs. Not people based on trade, because the only purpose for the Minister of Foreign Affairs is trade. Not people who are versed in trade and business. An HIV specialist is your Minister of Foreign Affairs. Now, we have fellas like Mariano Brown, Vasant Bharat, Steve Bideshi, to name a few, real financial wonderkinds. We have a fall-down wall contractor, Colm Immert, as your Minister of Finance. This is why nothing in the country is working at the leadership level. Your barber flying your plane and the fella that has scrubbed the moss in your canal delivering the nation children. It goes on. It goes on. I'm not calling all of them. Bruno Mitchell is a world-renowned ophthalmologist. Google his name. John Hayes, one of the best kidney specialists in the world. Google his name. We had a doctor here who found the cure, and I can't remember his name right now, found the cure for rabies, Trinidad and Tobago. We have brilliant medical minds in this country. Our Minister of Health during a global pandemic is a pharmaceutical sales rep. Your Minister of Tourism is Randall Mitchell. I don't even know what he does, but I know that it is not anything to do with tourism. You have a man like Derek Chin. Derek Chin, who built the movie town empire, would have been a much better pick for a Minister of Tourism. Movie town has left Trinidad and is now going regional to go global. And you have people like Derek Chin and even other businessmen in this country, Ali Khan, who ran the Hilton Hotel for decades, would have been a better choice than Randall Mitchell. The reason the country is failing is that at the leadership level, we have, and I'm running through the list and I'm ignoring a lot of them. I don't even want to call their names. At the leadership level, Minister of Planning and Development is Camille Robinson-Regis. Now, how and why would she be the Minister of Planning and Development? How and why? Why isn't Fifi, the man who created home development, plaza development, who created Trin City in the bush, why not a man like the guy who built Westmoreland, Krishna Bahadur Singh, who built Westmoreland out of nothing? Everything from West Mall to Regent's Park is Krishna Bahadur Singh. Why not a man like him who understands planning? Why Camille Robinson-Regis? Ignoring all that you don't need to know. Minister of Social Development, Donna Cox. Why? What does Donna Cox bring to the table from social development? You have people in this country like Rhonda Mengo, Rose Jackman, who built the Living Water community and turned Trinidad and Tobago, turn it around where the planning for people at risk who need social development go to all the time. What does Donna Cox bring to the table? Brian Lara, Dwight York, Russell Latapi, Atto Bolden, to name a few, would be better picks for a Minister of Sport. We have Shamfa Kujo, who never played a sport in her life. She admitted that when she was given the portfolio. It shows the contempt this Prime Minister has for this country. But I want you to understand, the topic we're discussing tonight, for those of you joining late, is why nothing works. Tony Robbins said, in an organization, when an organization is failing, 95% of the reason is management, is leadership. It is why when Mittal bought Iscot, our iron and steel company that was losing $1 million a day, he fired the management. He kept the workers. He fired the management. All he kept was the workers. He fired the entire management of Iscot, Ispat, and created Mittal Steel and went on to become one of the richest men in the world with our steel plant. Went on to nearly corner the steel industry on the planet with our little steel plant, and all he had to do was fire the management. Our problem in Trinidad and Tobago is management. Ray Furlong, Dr. Ray Furlong is one of the best traffic planners in the Western world. Ray Furlong is a Trinidadian. He lives here, Dr. Ray Furlong. And he would have been a perfect pick for Minister of Transport. Instead, we pick grocery shelf packer Rohan Sinanan. How to get 2 for $1 and $5 off Bodhi this week? Rohan Sinanan is planning the transportation in a country stuck in gridlock 40 years now. We have people in Trinidad and Tobago who have raised generations in the back seats of cars because we lock them in traffic for 3 and 4 hours every morning to come into Port of Spain and leave in the evening. And you put a grocery shelf packer, $5 off Baji this week, Rohan Sinanan as your Minister of Planning. Your Minister of Agriculture, Clarence Rambarat, he is a lawyer. He is a columnist. He is a professor. But he does not know anything about agriculture. We have Omadat Maraj in this country, and he's a guy that knows his stuff about growing food. You even have Dano Suku, love her or hate her, she know about growing food. Why we didn't take somebody who knows about growing food and make them the Minister of Food Production? That is your cabinet. There are other ministers, of course, that I ignored who not even worth a mention. But you need to understand, if at the top, a failed geologist, a failed contractor, two failed lawyers, one of your senior attorneys had to do his legal exam 6 times, I'm told. You have a pharmaceutical sales rep. You have people who do not have an inkling or an understanding in the ministry that they are responsible for. So you want to ask why the country failing? And this video tonight is because I referred to Trinidad and Tobago as a shithole. And a woman told me I shouldn't be calling it a shithole. So I want to ask her, if you're eating a pilau and it's not tasting good, do you respect the pilau? Do you respect the styrofoam box? Do you respect the cook? Do you say this scrambled eggs and bacon are eating here not tasting good? Or do you refer to it by what it is? Trinidad is an absolute shithole. Let us look at why. The world distributing vaccines and we not on anybody's list for any. We not nowhere included in anything for vaccines. Not that I'm advocating for vaccines, but I'm saying if the whole world doing something and we are left out, it says something about this country, wouldn't you agree? We are the only country in the world that has locked its citizens out of the country and called that a pandemic response. We're the only country that does that. The only people that our Ministry of National Security have been successful at keeping out of the country are actual citizens of the country. Illegal refugees, human traffickers, they could waltz right in. If you are a notorious international narco trafficker, we will light the runway to land your private plane. But the actual citizens of the country, those we keep outside. Our fertile farmland, growing razor grass and strip malls for friends and financiers. Listen, I'm telling all of you all this again. I've been saying these things for 4 and 5 years. I know that my track record is that I have informed you at every step of the way. You cannot say you don't know. You cannot say all of the same people, when you're drunk and glug, 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 and you tell them, don't call it a shithole, glug, 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 drunk. But don't pretend you didn't know, you know. The rich and the wealthy getting richer and wealthier while you like an ass fighting for the right to be wrong. This is a country that is the tail end of one of the wettest regions on the planet. You know that? That Trinidad is closer to Venezuela than Tobago. That Trinidad has roots. All of our greenery in this country, our forestry in Trinidad has its roots in the rainforest of the Amazon. That the waters of the Essequibo River laps our shores. That the reason our leeward side of the island, which should be our money beach from San Fernando to Chaguaramas, the reason why the water is black and it is not crystal blue water like the rest of the Caribbean is because all of that is river water from South America. All of it, the Orinoco, the Essequibo, the Amazon, right there, circulating right in Trinidad. That should be crystal blue, clear, straight to the bottom, white sand beach, and it's not because it's full of river silt and river sediment coming straight down those rivers into Trinidad. Trinidad is one of the wettest countries in the Western world. Trinidad should never have a water problem. And we have a water problem because of three things. One, the people who have been in charge of the country have been deliberately incompetent, like that list I just gave you. That list I just gave you, I don't even know who's the Minister of Public Utilities, and it doesn't matter. Because if I went to find the Minister of Public Utilities, I could bet 99% no, sure, that person have no experience in anything to do with public utilities, especially water. Because we need a Minister of Water. We made a mess of water. And we are making a deliberate mess of water so the government could shut it down and sell it quick. And write off the debt and running it into debt every year. You are literally, this is a country that, listen now, boy, I want to tell you, if this country, somebody make a joke with me and tell me something about if we get the contract to build a mall in the Sahara, Trinidad and Tobago contractors with teeth out all the sand. We here, we can't do nothing right. We can't do nothing right. Our water that we need to consume falls from the sky for free. We don't have to do nothing. We don't have to do a rain dance. For 6 months out of the year, sometimes more, we drown in water from the sky. There are times, Trinis, every single Trini, when you ask them what's their favorite sound in the world, rain falling on galvanized. We've fallen asleep as children to the sound of rain falling on galvanized. That to us is our favorite sound in the world. And we've developed a network of canals to capture that bounty of water and throw it away in the sea so that we never have water. Even when rain falling, place flooding, and you have no water in your tap. When them little fellas in the beat-up skate that water on Fitzgerald Hines, it wasn't anything else but frustration. They have nobody to turn to. Your prime minister come right down as a band of clowns. So there's nobody for you to turn to. If you talk out of time, they're talking sedition, inciting, defamation. Your free speech is under threat. And you're sitting down home with your thumb in your mouth and your other hand under your ass. You have to remember all of these days, you're going to look back on it. If ever you have to find yourself fighting in the street to take back your country, you put yourself there. Because for all this time we talk and all you had to do was be responsible with your vote. That is all you had to do. Trinidad is the only country in the world that literally takes all the fresh water it gets and throws it away in the sea. Dubai don't have 10% of the rain we get, and they have water in their taps 24/7. And yet there are PNM supporters who will tell me, "Frig that! Leave me tap dry! I go wash my clothes in mud. I want PNM. I want rowdy!" That is the insanity of this country. Our people have literally voted themselves into shit. We fight off our rescuers to hold on to the shit. We want to tread water in sewage. I wanted to tell that woman who told me, "Don't call this country a shithole." I wanted to ask her, "You have children? If your child going to a school that is not a shit school, you pull a string. 90% of the people who go to prestige schools' name was on a list, you pull a string. This is not a country where we reward excellence. This is a country where we reward access. We've been told for a long time it's not what you know, it's who. And we accepted that. I used to hear that when I was small. I used to think, but that is madness. What I know is important. But who you know will get you, Simon de Nobrega, a steel coating salesman, Ministry of Communication. This is Trinidad and Tobago. No matter what Colm Imber do the rest of his life, he will be known for falling down walls all through this country. Westridge Villas, the back wall fall down. The one in Glencoe, the wall fall down. What do you want? I don't even know the Grenada Stadium fall down. The man is incompetent in his core responsibility. If you buy a house that he built and it fall down, you had to say he consistent. But the truth of the matter is, as a Minister of Finance, he is an absolute and complete failure. And we are continuing to labor along and sit down like dumb mute asses as this man who is responsible for the income and expenditure of the country telling you, while we shut everything down and destroy everything that makes money and eradicate your middle class, we are telling you the country has no money. Of course it have no money. You're feeding the dog salt, it must vomit. What you think was going to happen from 6 years of mismanagement of the economy that we were going to boom? Where was the plan? Who knew the plan? You let Christian Boutte and all the rest of them in your band of friends write up a pandemic response, a COVID-19 response. You publish it. The rest of us get to see it. What was the plan? To continue to dig deeper? To try and see how bad we could get the country before the people actually say, wait now. The people in front there who drive in this car, they know how to drive. They know where we're trying to go. You can't flag down at Maxi and jump inside, and wherever the driver let you off, you tell yourself, well, that is where I wanted to go. If you're going somewhere with a destination in mind. What is our destination? What is our destination? Where are we trying to go? Did we set out to fail? Is that it? Is it that we wanted failed nation status? Because they've succeeded. They've succeeded at failing. And that's the only thing they've succeeded at. I had to expose North Central Regional Authority on a tent. People want to sue me for that. I get a next set of documents. We pay $78,000 to rent a tent for a day from a next tent man in Claxton Bay. We spend $5 billion, 5,000 million Trinidad and Tobago dollars on public health every year. And a woman is crying to me that she is watching her husband die, waiting for a pacemaker. And all I could tell her is, ma'am, I am not in office. I cannot take money out of my pocket and solve everybody's problem. Somebody sent me pictures, the uncle shoot the dog tonight. They went to the police take the report, the police didn't come. What to do? Get a copy of the report and bring it back for me. Somebody else living down the road from somebody 3 years now, they pelting stone at the house, they keep making reports. They send me pictures of 60 reports they make to the police. And I'm showing you these things, and I'm telling you these things. And when these people come to me, what do they expect me to do? Show up on the site and administer what kind of justice? You have a government. When you're telling me you can't find food to feed your children 3 days now, go straight to who you vote for. You voted for somebody. Whoever you voted for, go there. If you voted UNC, go there. If you voted PNM, go there. The people outside the country that messaging me and telling me, help, we come home. Listen to me carefully. When I was trying to organize all of you to take it to the state, to take it to the courts for judicial review, you put your eggs in Kamla basket so Kamla could stunt with a vote of no confidence for Stuart to play politics. I told you that would fail, so said, so done. Now that that has failed and Kamla and you all have breathed new life into a failed national security minister, what do you expect me to do? Do not, Brother David, land close, whatever your name is, Satish, go and ban that person. Go and ban, Satish, I want you to hear me. There's somebody posting called Brother David Langclose. He writing crap like storm the parliament. Delete that post and block him from this thread, please. Do not ever come on my wall and talk about that. Because if all you reach to thinking like that, all you're on your own. I ain't coming to take bullet or butu or water cannon for nobody. It should have never reached to here. Don't write that shit on my wall. Satish and any of the other admins, anybody post that kind of nonsense, delete them and ban them for life. I'm not tolerating that nonsense. Your solution still is your vote. You want to storm parliament, but you don't want to come out and stand up in the sun and the rain. How that does work? You're going to face butu and bullets, but you can't face rain and sun. How that does work? How that does work? All you're fooling people, chaining up other people, telling people to go and storm parliament while you sit at home watching it on TV and on Facebook, looking for entertainment. We will never advocate violence. We will always advocate people power. I'm going to show you examples of people power in coming weeks and coming months as we stand with groups of people in this country to get them justice, to get them the kind of representation that they were supposed to get from the politicians they voted for. And to those of you who don't vote, you are most responsible for where the country is. Because if you had 1 ounce of decency and you didn't like the PNM and the UNC, you could have voted for somebody else. You could have give other parties support. You could have helped other parties grow. You all represent 1/3 of the population of this country. You all could have been giving support to 3 and 4 and 5 other small parties that would have grown and be able to challenge. But no, you say now home watching social media, watching TV6 News, looking for entertainment and want to talk shit when shit reach by you. It was always going to reach by you. And I keep telling people, when you see the wolf reach your door, pull out your Balize card, pull out your UNC card. Say, not me, next door, I good. This is the last best hope. The Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago. This is the last best hope. We are the one last voice. We are the last best chance at rescuing Trinidad and Tobago. You have a band of incompetent mules and jackasses as a government. You have a complete failed opposition. You could love Kamala. You could drink Kamala piss from a cup. It doesn't matter to me. She is a failure. She's a total failure. She is a complete and utter failure. No, she cannot do the job. She hired Kirk Megu, Simon the Nobrega, who was a metal sealant salesperson, more qualified to be a PRO than Kirk Megu. Kirk Megu is the opposite of a PRO. They turned Dr. Kirk Megu, historian and political scientist, into a Guard Christopher and a Trini Trio and a Marcia Brave Boy. His entire political career, all of his integrity now thrown on the ground like rubbish, because the only thing the UNC know how to do to communicate is a set a rah, 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 Alan Karim, kick out the PNM, kick out the PNM, we get you with this, we get you with that. And every time you watch one of their posts, less and less and less and less people watch it. The UNC don't have an audience of 12 people for their official PRO. How that works. I have the greatest love in my heart for people like Jolene John and David Naked, and how I wish I could pull them from that sinking ship and leave Dave Tanku and Barry Padarat and Shem Baldio Singh and the rest of them clowns to sink with it. The UNC is trying to pretend to be all-inclusive and unity by giving you faces because the PNM get away playing face, but the UNC don't know how to bring the noise. So every time they try to play the PNM game, the PNM just slap them down and they look foolish. Kamala is not the leader of the opposition that we need right now. You have a government run rogue and taking advantage of the people, and there is nobody standing up for them. And when you see us stand up for one little dead girl, and you see us mobilize the country for that one little dead girl, you jump out yourself and you come to climb up on her casket in her funeral. Have you no shame, woman? Kamala Prasad Bisesa, if you have an ounce of self-respect and an ounce of decency, step down now. You are ruining this country. You and your little band of malcontents, your cabal of advisors that are advising you to make even your most ardent supporters shame. Step down. The UNC members deserve more. The UNC supporters deserve better. The 500,000 UNC supporters deserve better than that. And there are good people in the UNC still. Saddam, Vandana, Anita, David, Jolene, to name a few. There are a lot of good people that she cast aside. I don't understand still. Bo Tiwari is one of the brightest planning minds in this country. Brightest. Bo don't have a political board in his body. He don't know how to do politics, but he knows how to do things like planning. You cast him aside to bring who? Who you put? You go and call vote and no confidence, and every single one of your members stand up and get slapped down by a weak and failed PNM. And the people of this country left now looking at what is taking place in the parliament and wondering where the hell we're going to go from here. All of y'all who telling me all the nice words, you love me and you love my words, call 769-4590. 769-4590 right now, Felicia Holder, and send $1,000. Send $5,000. We need the help. We fighting multiples of lawsuits as these sons of bitches attack us from all sides. We fighting all manner of legal fees. You want to help? Don't just love me from far. Help us. Help us fight all. Help us win all. We need your help. This is not just about me, and I'm not doing this for your love and for you to tell me I love you words coming out my mouth. Let the words coming out my mouth be a magic chariot. Let it take us all to a better Trinidad and Tobago. Let it make us come together and stand up, rise as a people. Let it create a revolution of hearts and minds. People turned on for a country that says, wait a minute, the freaking rain falls from the sky for free. You can't argue with the point. You can't argue with the point. The rain falls from the sky for free. God give us a pitch lake that if you come and you take 100 tons out today, when you come back tomorrow, it's like something from Aladdin's magic lamp. 100 tons come back. It give it us for free. Why we not just rolling road whole day, every day? There's something called red oxide primer that the world uses as rust proofing. Red oxide primer was invented for the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge. They paint that bridge 365 days a year. They start on one side, they paint all the way to the other and start right back at the end. They don't stop painting that bridge. We should be world renowned for paving our roads 24 hours a day, every single road in this country. Instead, we have the shittiest roads on the planet. So you tell me now, you tell me, citizens of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, how the hell this could be so? How could we be so stupid, so foolish that we could accept this as our reality? We have more water than we need, more pitch than we could use, and we have no water in the taps, and our road is shit. Explain that. How we vote is not how we party. Run through your list. Run through your list. Run through the ministers. And find a single minister that has a qualification in the discipline or the industry that the ministry they're in is. And don't tell me Faris is an attorney. Faris is an attorney like Dr. Pepper is a doctor. Faris is barely an attorney. Excuse me. For an attorney general, you had a man like Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj who hanged the whole drug trade. The United States of America, the whole world signed a petition. They said all kind of thing, oh God, don't hang them. Hang as a man from a side. 3 days of hanging. Hang all. You had that. You still have that. You have real legal luminaries in this country that should be your attorney general, charting a way forward. What we have, a lease writer. How much years you want this house to rent for? 3 years? All right, remember? You gotta change the washers in the tap and turn off the lights when you're not using them. That's what you have. That's what you have. Minister of Finance know nothing about finance. He's a lawyer and a contractor, but he know nothing about finance. It's almost like Rowley play a game. Put up your hand if you don't know nothing about this ministry and you'll get it work. Because not one of them qualified for what they're doing. Las Alturas. That is Rowley's legacy. Las Alturas. Him, Noel Garcia, and the same guy. Look my phone ringing up with Kirk Megu. Watch. That Kirk Megu work. PRO. Sending out WhatsApp spam. That is the UNC PRO. Public Relations Officer. In charge of WhatsApp spam. That's what they reduced to. So you tell me, because some of you sitting down waiting and thinking that Kamala and the UNC is a better option than this PNM, I want you to tell me why. Tell me how. How you could think that at this point with what you're seeing going on. When the PNM was the opposition to the UNC, they used to make Kamala fat. They had the whole OWTU marching every day, mannequin and safari, all kind of shit. They used to make you fat. They bring out the whole country for Section 34. They make up a whole lie called Emailgate and had Google and Facebook and everybody involved in the lie. That little weak opposition, the PNM that had less numbers than the UNC have now, brought the UNC to their knees, death by 1,000 cuts. Cut away Alan Ramlogan, cut away Jack Warner, cut away Gary Griffith, cut away Anil Roberts. That's what they was doing. They had a pack of cards, like how the United States Army do with Saddam and the generals. The PNM, when they was in opposition, sit down. Who is Kamala? Real top people. And just cut them away one by one. And just so you're in government, you had a special majority, you could have changed the law. And instead, you end up begging for time for an election that you lose. How is that possible? And how could you still come on my wall and talk UNC shit if that's your reality? How? How are we not talking about, please let us all get together, sign a petition, build something new? Why are we not doing that? How could you want Garth Christopher and Trini Trio, Marcia Brave Boy, and this next jackass barking dog, I can't remember his name. How could you want that as your opposition and you saying that's my government in waiting and not expect more of the same of this? You think Kamala could stand up to the contract mafia? She didn't when she was in office. So what make you think she could do now when she's weaker and have less support? She don't have Jack. She don't have Anand. She don't have anybody of strength with maybe the exception of Rudal Monilal. Rudal Monilal in that party is the cheese that stand alone. And they have a little crazy, something from crazy town named Marcia Brave Boy. Her whole work is to keep attacking Rudal Monilal behind the scenes. Anybody who support Rudal Monilal and say Rudal Monilal doing a good job, Marcia Brave Boy, wannabe journalist, noisemaker, crazy from crazy town. Her job is to just keep attacking that. So where you going? A government that failed, an opposition that cannot hold the government to account. Where are we going? A country where all of the laws and all of the systems designed to fail. A nation where we cannot talk about the justice system, but the justice system failing. We cannot say that cases should not be taken 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Sean Luke killers are going on trial 15 years later. So be 4 years. 4 years for a preliminary inquiry for a man, a murderer they catch the day after he killed the man. The day after police hold him. 4 years. And 15 years later, 2005 to 2020, 21 to 2021. No trial start yet. Stevens and Johnson's 25 years for a judgment. Police officer rape a girl in the police station. They had the mattress as evidence in the court. That takes 17 years. Let us talk about the fact that our criminal justice system is failing. If it is not failed, and all we get into play is a law association attacking a chief justice, his personal life, and I'm hearing bullshit, but I'm not hearing legal luminaries leading a light and a charge to say, this is where we should be. But everybody looking for the Trinity Cross and the Shakonia goal to hang it up in the house in the last days when they get up 5 times in the night to piss, to pretend that when they're dead, people go remember them. People don't remember none of all here. And after Lenny Sape get a national award, who won the national award? After politicians start giving themselves silk in government, who wants silk? Senior council mean nothing in this country but a bigger PD. That's all we are. In a country where the people are all fighting like crabs for more money that's having less and less value. So you have to hold more and more. What a dollar used to buy, $100 can't buy now. So you need $10 million to be able to buy what $1 million could have buy before. How funny is that? How absolutely funny is that? I seen Portia Watson talking and I think about Patrick Watson and we have Patrick Watson languishing. An economist par excellence. Languishing. We have great Atto Bolden. No matter what you say about Atto Bolden, he is a Shaka Hislop. Them two fellas flying the red, white, and black further than anybody has ever flown it before, maybe with the exception of Brian Lara. Shaka Hislop should be your minister of sport. Atto Bolden, Shamfa, freaking Cujo. Come on, man. But this is what we dispose. We dispose. Your name is Trinity the Born. Whatever happened to the young girl with the 4 million in drugs in her house? How is that important than what we're talking about tonight? What we're talking about tonight is the government fail. And you could look and you could see why. 95% of every problem in an organization stems from leadership. If you don't know what you're doing, how the hell you're supposed to do it? If you don't know where you're trying to go, how the hell you're supposed to get there? Trinidad and Tobago, one of the wettest countries on the planet, have no water in its taps. Trinidad and Tobago, the only country on the planet that have more pitch. We could pave the world, but we can't pave our own roads. Trinidad and Tobago, the country that found the cure for rabies was found in Trinidad and Tobago, but we can't run public health. We, Columbus, sailed from Venezuela, from Spain, when he thought that the world was flat and he was going to sail off the end. He still find Trinidad, but we can't run a flicking ferry from Trinidad to Tobago, but the British do it for 200 years on wind power. But we can't do it. And you ain't asking yourself yet. And all of y'all who telling me it making sense, tell 20 other people tonight. Don't keep quiet. And the people who argue with you, tell them, kiss your ass. with your bullshit now. Stop defending mediocrity and wastefulness and incompetence and corruption. Stop defending royal mismanagement. Stop defending failure of epic proportions. That is what we have right now at every level. People ask me why I defend Gary Griffith. Kiss my half-red ass if you don't like that I defend Gary Griffith. Leave my wall. Don't follow me. Follow something else. Go and play follow the leader with something else. The reason I support Gary Griffith is because as of today, I could say not one person who went missing on Gary Watch missing still. Even poor Andrea Barrett, they find her body. But nobody who went missing on Gary Watch missing still. Most come back alive. Every single one of them wannabe bad boys that pose up with a gun and the automatic rifle and talking shit 24 hours later on Facebook, apologizing to Gary and apologizing to the nation and explaining my daddy didn't hug me and my mommy didn't feed me. That's why I put up that picture. I didn't mean anything at all and I was just joking. On Gary Watch, all of you talking shit outside there had nothing to talk when the rest of them was commissioner. And all of them women and all of them posters or they're sharing, they're missing on all of them commissioner watch. If any of them, if a Sammy had get murdered on Gary Watch, that man hang. That man hang. I tell you that. We need more Gary Griffiths, not less. Not less. And we have talking fools coming out to try and make themselves relevant, climbing up on Gary bandwagon. Not everything in a country this corrupt will work out how we want it. And all of us want to play by the Marquis de Queensberry rules, but it won't apply every time. And every now and then, when you're dealing with violent bandits and criminals, people are going to die. Because you are trying to put that, what you're trying to close Pandora's box. And you have to know all of that because that is the reality. That is the truth. Go and see all of y'all who quoting now. All of y'all who talking Singapore works and Singapore this and Singapore that. Go and find out what Lee Kuan Yew had to do to get Singapore to here. Hang people for 5 piece. Remember that. The better Trinidad and Tobago you want is beyond the old talk. Stop defending the nonsense. Stop defending mediocrity. Stop defending failed government. Stop defending corruption. Stop voting race. Stop thinking that your identity politics will somehow fix Trinidad and Tobago. It won't. It never did. And it never will. You all got to play ham and jam for a while and say we're successful for a while they had more money than God. When we had oil and gas coming out of everybody's toilet. So money was no problem. But the money done. It done. What happens now? What happens now? Those of you still getting your CPEP handout, what happens the day Guardian and Express had a print, Treasury empty, no salaries? What happens then? There is a Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago, citizensuniontt.org, citizensuniontt.com. Any of you who outside this country who want to help us stand up, because you will see the kind of things that we're working on. A tree takes a long time to sprout from the ground. The first thing it had to do is put down roots. And we've already done a lot. And you've seen the lot that we've done. We've mobilized an entire country and didn't take credit for it. We are now starting to organize from multiples of different organizations and groups of people that needed representation from abuse, private and public sector. We need your help. We need your financial help more than anything else because lawyers' fees ain't cheap. And they're doing everything in their power to silence me. So you decide. The better country that we want, join Citizens Union. Join Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago. Join it tonight. When we get ourselves to a number where we can stand up politically and challenge, we will make a difference that day. You have a responsibility to yourself and your family. You have a responsibility and an obligation to take part in your own rescue. Trinidad and Tobago is failing. You cannot pretend otherwise. Stop talking shit to yourself and other people. Face the truth, face reality, and stand up. And most importantly, stand together. All of us united brought this country to a complete halt on a Friday while the rain fell in memory of a murdered little innocent girl. We could do that for everybody in this country. We could unite Trinidad and Tobago and make sure not one person has to die like that again. We could unite this country and make sure not one student or citizen is left behind. We could unite this country and make sure that when you go to the public hospital, you get treated like royalty with dignity and professionalism and respect, we could make sure water flows from your taps and the roads are functional. This is an easy country to run. All you need to do is stop voting bandits and race into office. Identity politics fail you. Go right now while you are watching this video and type in citizensuniontt.com, citizensuniontt.org, fill out the form, join this organization, be a part of the real change that we always knew we always needed, because if we don't, we will have only ourselves to blame. Stay safe, Trinidad.